Alright, y'all been waiting on it. Goku in DC Season 3, Episode 6, where Goku trains with Wonder Woman for a year, so let's get to it. The moment their training session began, the air cracked with energy. Goku and Wonder Woman stood across from each other in the League of Assassins' domain, secluded training grounds, both fully aware of the stakes. With Vegeta and Nappa arriving in less than a year, neither warrior could afford to hold back. Goku lunged first, his fist cutting through the air with blinding speed. Diana barely had time to raise her bracers before the impact sent her skidding backwards. Her boots carved trenches into the earth. She retaliated with a spinning kick of her own, but Goku twisted midair, dodging before countering with a sweeping leg strike. The ground trembled as Diana blocked with her muscles straining against the power. Their sparring then escalated. Goku unleashed a rapid flurry of punches, each strike carrying enough force to shatter steel bars. But Diana weaved between them, with her Amazonian reflexes allowing her to deflect or evade every blow. Then, with a sudden burst of strength, she grabbed his wrist and flipped him over her shoulder. Goku twisted mid-flight, landing on his feet before immediately retaliating and rocketing back toward her with his elbow. Diana smirked. "You're getting faster." Goku grinned back. "Or you're still holding back." With that, he powered up, blue energy flaring around him as he pushed his limits further. And Diana's eyes gleamed with challenge as the duo continued their battle. For their next training sessions, the League's fortress was a maze of shadows and deadly precision, the perfect place for warriors to refine their skills. Goku and Diana moved through the dimly lit corridors with their senses sharpened for any sign of coming danger. "Remember," Diana whispered, "strength alone won't win this. We must outthink them." Goku nodded, his usual exuberance tempered by focus. The League's assassins lurked in the darkness, waiting to strike. The first attacker lunged from above, but Goku sidestepped, letting the blade whistle past his ear before disarming the assassin with a swift chop to the wrist. Diana, meanwhile, deflected two throwing knives with her bracers before incapacitating their wielder with a single pressure point strike to the neck. They moved in sync, Goku's brute force complementing Diana's disciplined technique. When a group of assassins surrounded them, Goku unleashed a controlled shockwave to scatter them, while Diana used her lasso to disarm the remaining foes. "Not bad," Nissa Algo remarked from the shadows, stepping forward. "But can you adapt when the enemy knows your tactics?" Then we jumped to somewhere else. The familiar scent of sweat and leather filled the air as Goku and Wonder Woman stepped into Ted Grant's boxing gym. The old hero, Wildcat, looking up from wrapping his hands, broke into a grin when he recognized Goku's face. "Well, I'll be damned," Wildcat chuckled, clapping Goku on the shoulder. "Look who finally decided to show his face again. Last time I saw you, you were just a scrawny kid throwing wild punches in the back alleys of the city." Goku rubbed the back of his head, grinning. "Yeah, well, had a good teacher." Wildcat's eyes flicked to Diana, and his smirk widened even larger. He nudged Goku with his elbow, lowering his voice. "Damn, kid. Didn't realize you had this kind of game. Walking around with a girl like that. You're a lucky man." Goku blinked, confused. "Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess I am kind of lucky. Diana's one of the strongest fighters I know. Training with her has been pretty awesome." Wildcat groaned, pinching the bridge of his nose. "That's what you took from that." He shot Diana an apologetic look. "Sweetheart, I don't know how you put up with him." Diana merely smiled amused. He grows on you." Goku, still oblivious, bounced on his toes. "So, Ted, you want to spar? I've gotten way better since last time." Wildcat rolled his eyes but laughed. "Sure, kid. Let's see if you've learned anything besides how to be clueless." As they stepped into the ring, Diana watched with fond exasperation. Goku's innocence was as unshakable as his strength, and for that month, the two trained their footwork technique in Grant's gym. In the next setting, the crashing waves of the Atlantic Ocean provided an unpredictable battleground as Goku and Wonder Woman stood on the rocky outcrop preparing for their next challenge. Aquaman's arms were crossed and he was smirking as he observed from a nearby cliff. "You two sure you're ready for this?" "The ocean doesn't play nice," he called out. Goku grinned, bouncing on the balls of his feet. Bring it on. I fought underwater before, but never like this. Diana adjusted her stance, bracing as the first massive wave surged toward them. Aquaman raised his trident and the water responded, shifting, swirling, and rising into a towering wall before crashing down with crushing force. Goku dug his heels in, but the current swept him off his feet, sending him tumbling. Diana was more experienced in maintaining balance after she had learned to swim, and she twisted mid-motion, using the water's momentum to flip back onto a nearby rock. Focus, Goku, she called. The water is just another opponent. Predict its movements. Goku surfaced, spitting out seawater. Yeah, I got it. He propelled himself forward, only for Aquaman to redirect the tides, forming a sort of whirlpool beneath him. Goku yelped as he was dragged under, but this time he channeled his ki to stabilize himself, forcing his way back up with a burst of his energy. Diana, meanwhile, had adapted quickly, using her lasso to swing on rocks between the waves, countering Aquaman's manipulations with fluid footwork. When a rogue current nearly knocked her off balance, she twisted mid-air and landed gracefully on a floating piece of driftwood. Aquaman grinned. Not bad, but let's see how you handle this. And with a flick of his trident, the water beneath them dropped suddenly, leaving them momentarily suspended in mid-air, before the ocean rushed back up like a fist. Goku, eyes wide, grabbed Diana and blasted upward just in time, laughing. Okay, was that cheating? Diana smirked. Maybe, but we might have to bend the rules in our coming battle. For hours they trained, dodging tidal waves, fighting in submerged ruins, even sparring while Aquaman shifted the battlefield beneath them. And the hours turned to days, and by the end Goku could maneuver underwater with near-perfect precision. Diana had refined her ability to exploit the environment that was around her. As the sun set, Aquaman nodded in approval. You two might just survive whatever's coming. Goku, dripping wet but grinning, clapped his hands. All right, time for our next stop. Goku grinned mischievously before suddenly grabbing Wonder Woman's hand before she could even react. He shot into the sky, pulling her along with him. The wind whipped past them, and the ground shrank beneath their feet, the clouds parting as they ascended higher and higher. Diana's eyes widened in shock. Goku, what? Where are we going? Somewhere awesome, he replied, laughing. Moments later, they broke through the cloud cover. Diana gasped. Before them stood a magnificent floating palace. Kami's Lookout, perched impossibly in the sky, its pristine white architecture gleaming under the sun. The air was thin and crisp, the silence broken only by the distant calls of birds that could be heard far below. Diana's warrior instincts kicked in as she took in this sight. This is incredible. How does this place even exist? Diana, you do realize you already live on an island hidden from the world filled with warrior women, yeah? Diana rolled her eyes and punched Goku in the shoulder, hard enough to make him yelp. But an island doesn't defy gravity, Goku. Goku laughed as he landed them gently on the Lookout's marble floor. Yeah, pretty cool, right? I trained here for a while. Just then, Mr. Popo, the ever-watchful guardian of the Lookout, emerged from the shadows with his dark eyes studying them. Goku, and you've brought a guest. Diana inclined her head respectfully. You have my gratitude for allowing me here. Kami, the ancient guardian of the earth, stepped forward, his wise gaze assessing her. Wonder Woman, your presence honors this sacred place. Goku nudged Diana playfully. See? Even Kami knows who you are. You really are famous. Diana smirked. And yet, you still haven't told me why you even brought me here. Training, duh, Goku said, flexing. Mr. Popo's got all kind of crazy exercises we can use. Kami chuckled softly, but Diana punched Goku in the arm again. You know, you could have led with that before you pulled me into the sky like a maniac. Goku rubbed his arm, grinning. Yeah, but where's the fun in that? Kami's laughter echoed across the Lookout as the two warriors prepared for their next challenge. Then afterwards, Themyscira's beautiful shores gleamed under the midday sun as Goku and Wonder Woman touched down near the island's Grand Coliseum. The moment their feet hit the sand, a chorus of shouts erupted from the training grounds. Amazons paused their drills, eyes widening at the return of the Saiyan who had once fought alongside Diana as a boy. Hippolyta, standing atop the Colosseum step, raised a hand in greeting. Daughter and son of Earth. Her lips quirked at Goku's enthusiastic wave. You return in a time of great need. Goku grinned, stretching his arms. Yeah, Diana said you guys wouldn't mind helping me train before the big fight, since she's already filled you in on the stakes. The Amazons exchanged glances before a ripple of laughter spread. One warrior, a veteran who had sparred with Goku years prior, stepped forward, twirling her spear. You wish to learn from us. Again, Monkey Man. Goku's tail flicked excitedly. You bet. Last time I was here, I barely knew how to hold a staff. Diana smirked. And now he intends to master every weapon that we have. The challenge was met with roars of approval within minutes. Goku found himself surrounded, swords, axes, and bows pressed into his hands as the Amazons put him through relentless drills. He adapted quickly, mimicking their forms with startling precision, though his enthusiasm sometimes sent weapons flying into the sands. Hippolyta observed with her arms crossed. He lacks finesse, she mused to Diana. But he learns fast, Diana countered, watching as Goku, after being disarmed for the 10th time, suddenly flipped mid-air and snatched his opponent's spear mid-swing. By dusk, the Colosseum echoed with cheers. Goku was bruised but beaming, stood victorious in his final bout. The Amazons, now grinning with respect, clapped him on the back. Not bad, outsider, one teased. For a man. Perhaps you are worthy of Themyscira's steel. Goku rubbed his head, laughing. Just wait till tomorrow. I'll be even better. Diana shook her head, but her pride was unmistakable in her comrade. After grueling days of training, the quiet nights of Themyscira brought a familiar comfort. Diana led Goku to the same chamber they had shared years ago when he was just a reckless boy and she a princess that was learning the weight of her duties. The room hadn't changed, simple yet regal, with the bed in the center. Goku flopped onto his bed, tail thumping against the sheets. Man, this takes me back. Remember when you'd wake me up at dawn by dumping water on me? Diana folded her arms, fighting a smile. You would not rise otherwise, she hesitated, then sat on the edge of her old bed. Are you certain this arrangement is appropriate? We aren't children anymore. Goku blinked. Huh? Why wouldn't it be? It's way easier to wake up and train if we're right here, he yawned, stretching like a contented cat. Plus, your room's way nicer than the barracks. Diana's cheeks warmed, but she shook her head. Of course he saw nothing odd about this. To him, closeness was practicality, not propriety. Still, as she lay down, she found herself listening to the rhythm of his breathing, steady as a drum beat. Goku, she murmured after a pause. A sleepy grunt answered her. Thank you for staying. A snore replied. She laughed softly, extinguishing the lantern. Perhaps some things were better left uncomplicated. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting golden light over Themyscira, Goku stretched his arms with a satisfied groan. The past months of relentless training had honed his skills to their sharpest edge, but now, with only about a week left before Vegeta and Nappa's arrival, he knew it was time to rest. Diana stood nearby, wiping sweat from her brow after her final sparring session, her muscles taut with exhaustion. Goku grinned, turning to her. Hey, Diana, you hungry? She arched an eyebrow, amused. After all that? Famished. His eyes lit up. Then let's go to the farm. I know Ma's cooking is the best, and I haven't had a home-cooked meal in forever. Diana hesitated, glancing at the palace. Are you certain your parents won't mind an unexpected guest? Are you kidding? They'll be thrilled, he laughed, bouncing on his toes. Come on, it'll be fun. You've never had her apple pie. It's like, boom, mind-blowing. Diana chuckled at his enthusiasm and then nodded. Very well. Lead the way. Before she could even react, Goku scooped her up in a bridal carry, his energy flaring around them. Diana gasped, instinctively gripping his shoulder as he shot into the sky. Goku! Don't worry, I got you, he assured her, grinning. The wind whipped past them as they soared over the ocean, the island shrinking behind them. Diana reacted slightly, though her cheeks warmed at this closeness. You could have warned me, she muttered, and besides, I can fly myself. And miss that look on your face? He laughed. No way. Diana rolled her eyes, but couldn't suppress a smile as the farmland of Kansas sprawled beneath them, the Kent homestead glowing like a beacon in the twilight. The screen door creaked as Goku pushed it open, his tail flicking excitedly behind him. Ma, Pa, I'm home. And I brought a friend. Martha Kent nearly dropped the mixing bowl in her hands when she turned and saw her adopted son standing in the kitchen doorway. Taller, broader, and grinning like he just won the lottery. Beside him stood a striking woman with raven black hair and a regal pose, with her armor shining in the home lighting. Well, I'll be, Jonathan Kent chuckled, setting aside his newspaper. Didn't expect to see you two flying in unannounced. Hope that's okay, Goku said, rubbing the back of his neck. Diana's never had your cooking, Ma, and I've already talked it up a little bit. Martha's eyes sparkled as she wiped her hands on her apron. Oh, honey, of course it's okay. The more the merrier. She hurried over, pulling Goku into a tight hug before turning to Diana. And it's so lovely to finally meet you, dear. Clark's told us all about the great Wonder Woman. Diana smiled warmly. The pleasure's mine, Miss Kent. Your son has been very persistent with his invitation. Jonathan chuckled. Yeah, that sounds about right. Within minutes, the farmhouse kitchen was alive with laughter and the rich aroma of sizzling chicken, fried steak. Martha whipped up her famous mashed potatoes and creamy macaroni, while Jonathan set the table, teasing Goku about his bottomless stomach. Diana watched, charmed, as Goku shamelessly stole bites straight from the stove, only for Martha to swat his hand away with a wooden spoon. Some things never change, Martha sighed, shaking her head. Diana took a seat beside Goku as the feast was laid out. This is wonderful, she admitted after her first bite. I told you, Goku beamed, and for a few precious hours there was no looming battles, no cosmic threats, just good food, warm company, and the simple joy of a loving home. As Goku and Diana soared through the night sky, the cool wind brushed against their skin. The weight of the year-long training seemed to lift, if only for a moment. The stars stretched endlessly above them, a silent witness to their journey. Diana glanced at Goku, her voice softening. You've gone stronger than I ever imagined possible in a year's time. Not just in power, but in discipline, in strategy, and in heart. Goku grinned, rubbing the back of his head. Huh. Well, I did have the best rival. His expression turned thoughtful. You know, back when I first came to Themyscira as a kid, I didn't really get what it meant to fight for something bigger than myself. I just liked the challenge. But now, he clenched his fists, looking ahead, I think I kind of get it. Diana smiled, warmth in her eyes. I never doubted that. But more than your strength, I'm grateful for this time we've had. After everything, with the Titans, Terra, Slade, I feared you might lose yourself to anger. Instead, you've become more resilient, and you reminded me why I fight too. Goku chuckled. Yeah, well, no way I was going to let all that mess keep me down. Not when I've got people like you and Clark and Ma and Pa backing me up. He turned to her, his usual playful grin returning. And hey, when Vegeta gets here, we're going to win. I know it. Diana arched her brow. That confident, are you? Yep, he laughed. Wonder Woman could see the confidence burning in Goku's eyes as he spoke, and for a fleeting moment, she felt an unexpected warmth, something deeper than just camaraderie. Almost unconsciously, she found herself inching closer, her gaze lingering on his face, until a sudden streak of energy tore through the night sky, shattering the quiet. Both warriors snapped to attention, their instincts sharp. What was that? Goku muttered, squinting at the horizon. Before Diana could answer, a distorted ripple in space split the air right in front of them. and out tumbled a man in a sleek green and gold costume. Clutching a bizarre triangular device, he staggered to his feet, adjusting his domino mask with a theatrical flourish. Ah, the famous Wonder Woman and her monkey-tailed companion, the man sneered, twirling his device, the angler, between his fingers. How fortuitous. I was just testing my latest adjustments, and now I have 2 new test subjects. Diana's eyes narrowed. Angleman. Goku tilted his head. Wait, Angleman? Like math and stuff? The villain scoffed. Fool! The angler bends reality itself, space, time, even the very angles of existence. To demonstrate, he flicked the device and suddenly the ground beneath them warped, tilting at an impossible 90 degrees. Goku yelped as he slid sideways, only to flip midair and land on what was now a vertical surface. Diana, using her lasso to anchor herself, glared. You're playing with forces you don't understand, Angleman. Angleman smirked. Oh, but I do, dearest. And now, he aimed at Angler, and the sky itself folded, twisting into a kaleidoscope of fractured dimensions. Let's see how you handle the obtuse odds you have come against. Goku cracked his knuckles, grinning. Okay, now this is getting interesting. Diana sighed. Of course you'd say that. Wonder Woman smirked, tightening her grip on the lasso of truth. Angleman, we've danced this dance before. You're outmatched, so surrender now, and we'll make this quick. Angleman's face twisted in indignation. Quick. You think this is the same old trick? He brandished the angler, its metallic surface humming with unstable energy. I've recalibrated every vector, every spatial distortion. You won't be looking down on me when I send your Amazonian ass to the dead zone. Before Diana could react, he flicked the device, and the air behind her ripped open, revealing a swirling abyss or void. A vortex of distorted gravity yawned wide. Tendrils of darkness lashing out like hungry fingers. Diana barely had time to register the danger before the pull seized her, yanking her backward off her feet. Diana! Goku's voice cut through the chaos. In a blur of motion, he lunged, shoving her clear away, but the Dead Zone's grip was too strong. The moment his hands left her shoulders, the vacuum snatched him instead. His boots skidded against nothing as the abyss swallowed him whole, his wide eyes locking onto hers for one last moment. Then, he was gone. The portal snapped shut with a thunderous crack, leaving only silence. Diana landed hard, her heart pounding. The air where Goku had stood was now empty. Angleman cackled. Oops. I guess the monkey took the fall for you. Diana's fist clenched, and the ground beneath her began to splinter. Angleman's cackles echoed through the warped battlefield, his glee uncontainable as he twirled the angler between his fingers. Oh, this is rich. The great Wonder Woman standing there like a statue, all because she lost her pet monkey. Then he saw her face. Diana's expression wasn't just anger. It was cataclysm. Her eyes burned with fury of 1,000 suns. Her lips pressed into a razor-thin line. The air around her crackled, not with magic, but with something far more primal. The unbridled rage of an Amazon warrior who had just watched a brother torn from the world. Angleman's laughter died in his throat. His smirk faltered. The device in his hand suddenly felt very heavy. What? What? Diana said, her voice low and lethal. Did you just do? Every syllable dripped with venom. The ground beneath her boots splintered, fissures racing outward like spider webs. Trees groaned. The very atmosphere seemed to recoil. Angleman took a step back, his bravado crumbling. Now, let's not overreact. And then Diana moved. One moment she was yards away. The next, her fist was buried in his gut with the force of a meteor strike. The villain folded, the angler clattering into the ground as he gasped for air. Diana didn't stop. She seized his collar, lifting him until their faces were inches apart. Where is he? But Angleman was knocked unconscious from her heavy attack. Alright, so now we have Goku lost in the dead zone right before the Saiyans arrive. Alright, we'll see how he gets out. Be sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until the next one. Gone. Peace.